All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Rooftops of America live stream for the middle of June, not the end of June. Good gravy. As you can tell, I'm not in my usual location. I'm on vacation in Florida. And it has been quite 2 weeks. A lot of travel. I hope you're all doing well. And, as folks jump on. And, yeah. So I'm also hoping that you guys can hear me well enough. There's a lot of ambient noise on this particular location where I'm sitting. So hopefully it's not too bad. Um, yeah, hopefully you can hear me and everything's good to go. So let's see. Hey, Pretzel, I'm doing well. I'm in Florida on the coast of Gulf of Mexico. I hope you're doing well too. So let's see. What do I got on the docket to talk about today? Um, hey, Bill, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So it has been. Um, it's going to be the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much always. Let's be honest. What was changed will be changed back. So, but no. Plus, it makes for better songs. Um, so, anyway, here I am sipping suds on the Gulf of Mexico in Florida. I'm drinking some Goat Island Blood Orange Berliner Weiss. It's not bad. I've had better Berliner Weiss. If you're gonna do one, try to do it a little well. They should be pretty tart and light at the same time. Um, Honestly, a Berliner Weiss, like a true traditional Berliner Weiss, is just a very tart, light wheat ale that goes really good with syrups that you would pour into it. The syrup I prefer in my Berliner Weiss is the Lingonberry one. Um, Take a little route up to Scandinavia for that, but still. Anyway, hope everybody's had a good 2 weeks since last time I chatted with you. Um, it has been, like I said, a lot of travel, and this time last week, I was at my brother's graduation, finally, in El Paso from the Sergeant's Major Academy in Fort Bliss. That was pretty cool. It was hot as all get out. I know I had once upon a time said, when I go down there in June, um, I was going to hike up North Franklin Peak, the tallest peak in the Franklin Mountains, right there in El Paso. But good gravy, man. It came in at I think the highest it hit there was 105 degrees. So that was completely, no, that idea was the option not to do that was reinforced by the ridiculous oven heat of El Paso in June. But it was really cool seeing Cody's graduation, his commencement. Guest of honor speaker was Sergeant Major of the Army. That was really cool. Um, 600 graduates, numerous um, partner nations, ally nations, had candidates walking across the stage too. I think there was like 54 something, 60. It was really awesome. And I'll say that UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, is a pretty cool campus. Um, we got so that's what we did on last Sunday, a week from this day, so a week ago. And then Monday, me, my best friend Matt, and my sister Misty decided to run out to. Um, we decided to run out to Carlsbad Caverns, and I feel like now that I've been there, I should have been more encouraging of if you're going to do Guadalupe Peak, try to wrap in Carlsbad Caverns too, because that place was spectacular. I loved it. And I regret not having gone out there sooner. It really was one of the coolest places I've been to in a long time. Um, God, Carlsbad Caverns was awesome. And it was so amazing. It reminded me of another experience I've had in my life when I had went to the long time ago. I was able to go to the Vatican Museum for a day. And as you're walking through the Vatican Museum, you get to a point where you just, you've seen so much. You become desensitized to all this stuff. Like, well, there's another priceless artifact. There's another Michelangelo. Whoop-de-doo. And you can no longer appreciate the scale and beauty of what you're seeing. And this was the experience I had in Carlsbad Caverns as you're working around that big room. And it just, um, honestly, Bill, I'll be honest, the big room in Carlsbad Caverns is, I was trying to describe it to other folks, and I'm like, it's video game big. Like, you get into places where you're like, it just can't be this big. And it's incredible. And it was unlike anything I've seen in a long time. Really, really loved seeing Carlsbad Caverns. Have to go back. There was so much stuff that I saw that I just would like to see it again. I feel like it's one of these places that every time you would go, you would see something new and interesting, whether from a different perspective or, you just didn't notice it the last time because there's just so much stuff. And I also realized that um, the if you walked back out instead of taking the elevator out, we took the elevator out because we were getting hungry and we wanted to go get some food. But I think that walk back out would be great secret training. Like that's a lot of gain, um, over pretty good, you know, distance at a good angle. So it really would, like, secret high point training is walking out of Carlsbad Caverns. So overall, though, Carlsbad Caverns, uh, easily, if I'm giving it, I'd give it 5 stars out of 5 stars. Um, it was why it was awesome. Um, and so, yeah, I am really glad that we did that instead of suffering up North Franklin Mountain in the heat. um, so, but yeah, the next day, we saw Cody. He got frocked to Sergeant Major. That was really cool. And then, went all to Cattleman's Steakhouse, had a big slab of beef, called it a day. Left El Paso in the rearview mirror. Interestingly enough, the day before um, we got to El Paso, or before I got to El Paso, I actually stopped for a day in. I stopped for a day in Denver and was able to go do some filming for a Fearsome Critters thing coming up. And my friend Jess, who has been on here before, Lover Fishy, she took me to Garden of the Gods by Colorado Springs. That was really cool. Saw the Manitou Incline for a future effort, which was that was a lot more. Even like looking at it from this, it's like, wow, that's a lot. But I do want, that's on my list of things to do at some point, is the Manitou Incline. So it's cool to see that. And then we made a shot to try to get up Pikes Peak, which we were not successful at. We got up to the final stop, and it was closed from that point on due to weather. It was The wind was just whipping, and it was cold. And even though we were in a four-wheel drive Jeep, the Rangers weren't letting anybody go beyond. Not that there was much in the way of visibility, but so Pikes Peak, almost to the top. Definitely going to go back to try to bag it. It was a great day, good adventure. Um, after striking out, we went back to Denver and instead, drank cocktails and beer. And frankly, That sounds like a pretty good alternative sometimes too. So it was really it was a pretty good event. It was good, a good outing, both to Colorado and then El Paso, um, both to see future things that I want to do, and I do feel like I will. I feel like I got another trip to Guadalupe Peak in me at some point. I really love that peak, and even seeing it, driving by it, and even stopping at the Pinery, um, real quick to show my family and friends, one of my favorite places. Uh, I definitely would like to go and hike that one more time because I love Guadalupe Mountain. Man, Guadalupe Peak, it is a favorite. There's something about it that just sings to my soul. So, um, but now here I am in Florida. We got down here yesterday, and we'll be hanging out on the beach for the better part of a week and a couple days. But I am going to make. We flew instead of drove. Normally, when we've driven, I would have forced my family to stop at Britton Hill for a photo op, but we flew. So I will be driving my rental up to Britton Hill. I got the drone with me, which is something I haven't had with me the last few times I've been down here. So, well, I did have it with me last time I was down here, but I didn't get a chance to make it to Britton Hill last time. But I've got it this time, and I will get a chance to make it to Britton Hill. So I'm really looking forward to getting some drone footage of that and making a quick, 5 fast facts of Britton Hill. I always like going to that particular area. Britton Hill it is what it is, but um, I do like that part of Florida. So um, let's see. And we got quite the chat. Okay. Um, Trails and Trails at Run. Hello. Hello to you. I hope you're doing really well. I've been thinking of maybe doing a high point trip next time we go to the Teddy Roosevelt National Park Panorama Point. Awesome. That'd be cool. Hi, Eric. Hope you're doing well. Happy Father's Day to you. Have you considered going for the prominent points in these states? I know you've done Florida. Maybe. I think I want to get stay focused on the state high points, get those completed, and then start considering that doing the prominent ones. That's the big question of what would be the second go around. What would it look like? And I tend to lean more to the prominent ones, but other people have other ideas on for their seconds list. So Carlsbad Caverns is expansive. It was crazy like disconcertingly big. Like your mind just can't sort of fathom like how big this open space is, and yet you're still like way underground. It's really wild, and yeah. Um, why not? Why not nominate Texas for the 2027 convention? Bill, claustrophobic, mountaintops good, caverns bad. It's funny. I don't like the small spaces. I have this weird irrational fear of being pinned in a super small space. But I never got that with Carlsbad Caverns. It was just so freaking huge. It was awe-inspiring. Um, have they had a convention for Guadalupe? I don't know. I don't know if they have. Um, it's sort of Guadalupe Peak is sort of out in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, your options to have something are either in El Paso or Carlsbad. But you're sort of it's really, you have a sign that says, last gas for 153 miles. So, yeah, you could do it. But part of the reason I don't think they have is because it is sort of remote. So, hey, Lover Fishy. Hey, Jess. Glad you're here. Um, Once again, thank you very much for helping me film things a week and a week and 2 days ago. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. There's still a lot of snow when I was in Colorado last weekend. I'm not surprised. Um, it was crazy to walk into winter and then the following day get to El Paso and literally it's like 102 degrees off the airplane, and it's like, good God, this is crazy. Glad I could catch Florida stream. I did Carl's Mountain last Monday in San Diego. If you ever got in for awesome, congratulations, Ultra Star. How many state high points are the most prominent? Good question. I'd have to look it up. I can tell you Denali is, but I know my home state of Wisconsin, Timms Hill is not the most prominent peak. Blue Mounds is. The Blue Mounds down by Madison. So, I'm doing well. I had a successful Mount Elbert last weekend. High point to number 27. Congratulations. Elbert's fun. I like Elbert. I fly into Portland on Wednesday, hoping to summit around sunrise Thursday morning. High point 44. Congratulations, Eric. I wish you a very successful trip, and good luck. Best of luck. They actually had it back in 1990, so back when you could count every member in a single hand. Pretty much. I think it's most prominent in the 7th. Denali is a dark horse candidate of tallest mountains in the world because it has the most scale. I can't remember exactly what the factoid is around it, but from base to peak, it's the most above land, because Mauna Kea is base to peak, the tallest mountain in the world, but 2/3 of it is underwater, where everything you see of Denali is up above, which is pretty incredible. It's also like the highest peak that far north in the world. It's quite a beast of a mountain. It's this massive block of granite, a pluton of granite. So pretty cool. But yeah, so here I am, Florida, drinking beer, enjoying the beach, and hanging out on vacation, not doing much. Which is not necessarily true. I've been writing a lot. I'm hoping to finish up a couple stories for Fearsome Critters. You guys, if you're interested in it, I'm going to shamelessly plug the website quick. If you want to subscribe, a new episode is coming very, very soon, like the first episode. Let's see. I'll have to post a link in the chat. But yes, so I have been spending a lot of time working on that. And I'm very proud of it. I really think there's a lot of good work, and it's going to be interesting. And so if you have the inclination, because it is interesting enough, I would have never started it without doing the High Point series. So there is a tie, all things considered. There is a tie. And yeah, but so that's been at the forefront. I haven't forgotten finishing out Series and Vesta. Those are still, I got to get that series finished. I want to get it done and out the door. I'll film it when I get back to Pennsylvania, and then focus on Idaho. That's the big one. So Idaho's coming in August. That's the plan. Right around that second week. I haven't bought my tickets yet, but I'm still leaning in that. I got to really get smart on the beta for that, and start getting my intel in line on what to expect. And I know it is a grind, and it's up, up, up. So it will be pretty. I have a feeling it's going to be an intense few days. Even if even flying in, I think I'm flying to Boise, and then you got to drive. The plan is flying to Boise, and then you drive several hours to get to the trailhead. There might be a better option. So I know others Eric, I believe you've done it. So any intel you have from your experience, I would greatly appreciate. Um, and then it was that's my big effort for this year is Idaho. And so I'm putting all my eggs in one basket to get one last final new peak. At least get a new peak this year, and then focus next year on trying to pick up the slack. So it is. I'm putting a lot of expectation around it, which is not always the most healthy of things for me. But hey, c'est la vie. Um, the storyline for Idaho is starting to take shape too. I think it'll be. I'm still looking for a hook here or there, but I don't know. It's an interesting state. So, how are you all? Any big plans? We're 1 week away from the seasonal start of summer, and I know we've talked about it before. Like at the end of the Memorial Day, like this is where everybody's really kicking their stuff off. So hey David, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. Um, there is also the other thing that I keep thinking about because it's showing up tomorrow is my updated passport, which pleases me to no end because I feel like that was one of the big hurdles of like I can finally really start focusing on rooftops of the British Isles, the British and Irish Isles, and now having that, like I don't have to, like it's a whole new degree of, hey, guess what? The window is now open and you can start knocking those out. So I'm honestly, I'll be quite candid. That is the one thing I keep thinking about with Idaho is, I can do Idaho, but what if I went to Ireland? What if instead of going out west, I decided to go east, you know, and drink more Guinness than I probably should, and go to the top of an Irish mountain. So I stayed at a small town about an hour south of Bora the morning before. After I stayed in Ketchum, nice. Looking at Mount Marcy, mid to end of July. Good one, Bill. That's awesome. That's when I hit it. No, was it? No, it was earlier in July. Um, Travels and Trails. I'm planning on doing Hoosier Hill and Campbell Hill later this summer, probably next month. Do them both in the same day. I'm still looking at, I think if they're still doing the bricks, I still think I want to get a brick for Campbell Hill. I have the form open um, on my phone. I just need to pull the trigger and do that. So, um, but you missed my other quiz. Want to guess what state's lowest county high point is the highest? That county high point is state. Which state's lowest county? Utah. Probably Utah. Utah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Nevada. That would be my assumption. It is Utah. Huh? It's not too shabby. Sometimes I guess correctly. Um, nice. I wonder how many people have bagged it. That'd be interesting to know. I might have to go on the county high pointing site and check and see how many people have logged it or peak bagger. So that actually would be one of these interesting little points of additional content for Rooftops of America, like the highest, the lowest, the, how would you put the God, I'd have to figure out a better way to phrase it. I know what I want to say. So it'd be, what is the county high point with what state has the highest county? Ah, shoot, Utah's counties are absolutely enormous. It's 23 counties. I didn't know that. That's actually a nice little factoid. I did not know that it had 23 counties. You would expect more because it is such a big place. I learned how big Utah was a couple years ago when I drove from Salt Lake City down to Flagstaff. I knew it was big. I'm not. I mean, I could be foolish sometimes, but I wasn't that foolish. But I do think I underestimated that drive just a little bit. So, which state's lowest county high point is the highest? Which state's? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Um, there's a California county that takes 4 hours to drive across. Well, I mean, any county could take 4 hours to drive across, depending on how much traffic there is. So that's me being a bit cheeky on that. So no, that would be an interesting one to throw on the additional list of other things to do. Like, I'm still looking. I still think the point of isolation or the point of inaccessibility, I'd like to knock that out. I think that would be an interesting place to go. Of course, you have the geographical centers of the United States and, even North America. Those are all readily accessible. North America is in North Dakota. The geographic center, I think, is also of the U.S. is also in North Dakota. The one for the lower 48 is in Kansas, of course. So those would all be fun additional ones. And I feel like when I redo North Dakota, I'll probably wrap those two geographical points into the updated version because I'll be honest, there ain't a lot going on out in Slope County, North Dakota, that that I can work a story around. So I feel like North Dakota will end up being another version of what I envisioned Kansas on being, of starting at one point at the low point of Kansas on the I think it's the Verdigris River, and then working all the way across the state and just telling a fun story along the way. Yeah, Jess, the Northwest angle in Minnesota is a place that I've long wanted to go to. I think it is such a cool little anomaly, and it would be. I want to say I looked at High Point in that particular section at one point, and it's out in the swamp. It's in not a classic Northwood swamp that's just gonna suck to get to. Um, so um, another place is there's also the actual extreme points too. I know people have done variations or have pursued those. Like, what's the extreme southernmost point of the entire United States to include territories? And I want to believe it's a place called Rose Island. I think it's that near American Samoa. And then, just all these crazy points. So, I mean, the one that's most popular that people can get to readily easily, especially if you're doing Wisconsin High Point, is the 4590 point, where you are halfway between the equator and North Pole and the prime meridian international dateline. There's 4 of those around the globe, or no, 4, 8. Hold on, no, 4. Yeah, um, but the one in Wisconsin is by far the most easily accessible, because the other one in the northern hemisphere in China is way out in the middle of nowhere and take a concerted effort to get to. And then the 2 in the southern hemisphere are down in the ocean. So, but yeah, all those weird little things. I do like those weird little things. I think we've talked about this before in the past, that's the kind of stuff, that those oddities that I love. It's part of the reason I got into high pointing in the first place. Was I like that the weirdness that comes about when you start putting lines on maps. And so I feel like those are addendums that I'd like to do for Rooftops of America. They're not necessarily, some will get wrapped into episodes, some might be worth just, you know, pursuing on another thing. I've wrapped in tri-points, and Rhode Island's a classic example, simply because there is no hike for Jerimath Hill, that's really worth it. So there is a bit of a hike for that tri-point. And honestly, there's a cool little bit of history up there with that crazy train crash in that area as well. So maybe more of those. More tri-points. Everybody should probably do more tri-points. There is, I saw not too long ago, a week or two ago, somebody posted a successful completion of the tri-point over by, which one was it? Was it California, Nevada, Oregon? Can't remember. Way out in the middle of nowhere. So that was, but some of those are incredibly distant. And there's a question for you, Pretzel. Is what tri-point has the highest elevation? You might already know it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you've already asked me that question. And now I've just thrown it back at you, years later. So, but yeah, I feel like an episode on tri-pointing in general, I probably should pull together at some point with the conclusion of being, going out to the highest tri-point in, the U.S. Even like if you get down to the next time you're down around Wheeler Peak in New Mexico, make sure you go to Glorieta Pass because it is the highest battlefield ever, in the United States, 7,000 some odd feet. And it's got a really cool history to it. So I do like thinking in those terms of, the highest building in the U.S. Or I can't remember what the Smithsonian hut on Whitney is, but it does have a thing around it. I want to say it's the highest building in the lower 48. But I wouldn't mind going and visiting the highest continually inhabited building in the U.S. And all those little things. I know John Mitchler has a thing with golf courses and pubs that he does. So it's just part of the fun of the whole thing. High pointing, I think we've always said it from the very beginning, it's what you make it, the journey you want to go on. So it would be pretty wild. I've heard some Hawaiians of about 10,000 feet. Wouldn't surprise me. Leadville itself in Colorado is over 10,000 feet. And so there you go, one of the highest incorporated towns in the U.S. So let's see. How many of the lowest state county high points are named? Probably not many. That was actually one of the interesting things when I was looking at Indiana years ago, was how many, like if you looked at their 10 highest peaks, I want to say only 2 or 3 were named. Like, it really is a fascinating look at like what's worthy of a name. Which, man, that's a whole nother thing right there. What is worthy of a name? So I'm going to try the PA, Maryland, West Virginia tri-point again. Hey, when you do, Ron, when you do, I'll send you my number. I think you already might have it. But text me when you're doing it, and hopefully I can steer you in the right direction. Any intel you want me to gain for Hood? Yeah, I would just like to know every picture and stuff I've seen of it, I can read the trip reports. I can see the pictures, but I would really like a no BS. I won't say the people are, but I would like to. I'd like to get some intel from somebody I trust in, like, just hear your perspective. Um, you have a similar military background that I do, Eric. So it would be I would appreciate it from that perspective, if that makes sense, because it strikes me as I, I don't know how to phrase it. I feel like it's one of these things that you can't. All the film you'll see of it doesn't do it justice. I feel like it has more. There's more to it than what you're seeing. So, um, I'd love to know what your take is. So, all right. Let's see. Hopefully, no sketchy roads this time. Yeah, just don't go down the one. You got to go down the forest road on the other side. Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, California, Oklahoma. Their lowest county high points are named. Interesting. Huh. That is interesting. I wonder what Wisconsin's lowest county high point is. I should know that from my home state, but I do not. 70. I do know there's 72 counties. Um, and that's still one of the blind area, or one of my blind spots at high pointing is I have never gone and high pointed my the county I grew up in, Taylor County. Nor have I gone and grabbed the high point of the township I lived in, the township of Goodrich. I know where they are on a map. I could point to them on a map, but I just never have done it. So, something I probably should remedy the next time I get back to Wisconsin, at least the county one. Enjoy your evening, guys. I'm fighting to stay awake another dark 30. Well, stay safe, Jess, and I hope you have uh, a good rest, and that your day tomorrow will be relatively mild in the big scheme of things. Its lowest is Door County. Doesn't surprise me. I guess that makes sense. So, all right. It's 8:08, and no, my folks live in the center of the state. If you were looking at a map of Wisconsin, and there you go. Here's Door County, probably a little high, but my folks would live right in the middle. Go to a town called Wausau. I shouldn't say the middle, more the north central. Go to Wausau, Wisconsin, and then you're going to go 35 miles to the north and west, and you'll find a town called Medford, right on State Highway 64, State Highway 13. And my parents actually live on a farm to the east of that. It's pretty rural. Do you have a Father's Day tradition? Normally, Magnus and I get out and go for a hike. But today, since it was our first day here, our first full day here at the beach, we did get out for a bit of a run, some exercise early this morning, and we did go and get a pretty damn good burger. Um, so that was a suitable alternative. Um, I'll be very curious. I'd love to know what you're setting out, for, Eric, for yours. Um, I'm telling you, like, the walk in the woods has always been fun. Um, One of our big traditions that we do, not quite a Father's Day tradition, but one of our big traditions we do ever since we moved to Pennsylvania is we walk on, because they're not ready yet. But by the end of the month, when we get back, the weekend after, or around the 4th of July weekend, the wineberries will be in full season. And so we'll hike on to Valley Forge National Park, and we'll hike up to the top of Mount Joy. And on the summit of Mount Joy, there are wineberry patches galore. And we will pick several quarts of wine berries, and then we make jam out of them. So that has been the making jam part is a new wrinkle in the tradition. Normally, we were picking quarts of wine berries and either eating them or using them in like quick breads or muffins. But last year we decided to make jam, and Magnus was really keen on that, and we are definitely doing it again this year. So I do. It reminded me of making jam with my mom growing up. So not quite a Father's Day tradition. If wine berries were earlier in the season, it would be, but definitely a tradition, a big summertime tradition for us. So combines all my favorite things: berry picking, getting out in the woods, going for a nice hike, and doing a little cooking. So um, good stuff. All right, it is 8:11. Next I see you will be right before the 4th of July weekend, I think, right? Yeah, pretty much, June 29th. So um, I hope you guys stay safe. Eric, good luck, man. I wish you the best of luck for Mount Hood. Um, may your may you keep your head on a swivel, man. But I believe that you will have a successful summit. So I look forward to hearing about it. And happy Father's Day for those that are in that line of work. And if not, well, uh, have a happy Sunday. So, all right. On that note, cheers, and I will see you when I see you.